The following opinions are solely those of BoatTEST.com and its test captain. Hi, I'm Dave East for BoatTEST.com, and in this video, I'm going to talk through the advantages of a catamaran-style hull over a monohull. Hopefully we're going to dispel some myths, and I'm going to show you why catamarans are becoming more and more popular. When you look at a catamaran-style hull, the first thing you're going to notice is the sharp entry at the bow, and that's what sets them apart from a deep V monohull, which has got a lot wider entry and not near as sharp. Basically, it's a sharp knife versus a dull knife. The sharp knife is just going to cut better. A sharp entry on a bow cuts through the water better than a wider entry does of a monohull. Second thing a cat does is they're a lot more stable than a monohull. The best way I can describe it is take the boat off of the trailer, put a V-hull on the ground, and it's going to rotate on the axis of its keel, and it's going to flop to either side. Take a catamaran off of the trailer and put it on the ground, and it's going to stay at rest and stable. And that's what both boats do in the water. A V-hull doesn't take very much for it to rock on the axis of its keel. Catamaran, for it to list, not only do I have to sink this sponson in the water, I've got to pick this sponson up out of the water. So a catamaran's tendency is to stay nice, flat, and stable at rest and at low speeds. Now, once you get a catamaran on plane, that's where they really shine. There's less drag than a monohull, so they're going to be more fuel efficient. They're going to be faster with less horsepower. The twin-engine cat will plane on one engine. The twin-engine monohull very rarely will. There's just too much wetted surface. The engine can't overtake the drag of that big, wide, wetted surface. On a catamaran, it takes a lot less power to get the boat up and over and on plane. Where this is going to be important, you're way offshore and something happens to one of your outboards, you can come home at a good clip on a catamaran where you're going to have to mush home at 4 or 5 knots on a monohull on one engine. For a V-hull to run good, it's got to have a very sharp, deep entry. Well, that deep entry comes at a cost. You pull up to a sandbar, the boat's going to run aground and you're going to be far from the edge of the water. With a catamaran, you get a good ride because you've got the sharp entry, but you've got 2 hulls displacing the water, so you have more buoyancy. Draws a lot less water. You can get a lot closer to the shoreline. You can get in much shallower water than you could on a V-hull of the same length. Talk about the engines of a catamaran. They're a lot further apart than the same size V-hull. What that does, especially at low speeds, docking, you can spin the boat on its own axis. One motor in forward, one in reverse. The boat will spin inside of its own axis, much like a big yacht would do. One more advantage of having the engine set far apart, you can put a really large dive ladder in between. The most stable place to get on board that boat is dead center of the boat, right in the axis of where that boat's going to list, not onto either side like you would have to on a V-hull. So having that ladder located right in the middle and having the advantage of a nice big wide ladder, that's another thing that sets a catamaran apart from a V-hull of the same length. If you ever talk to anyone who's ridden in a catamaran, they're going to rave about the soft, dry ride that these hulls have. And there's a reason for that. On a V-hull, you're displacing a lot of water. So when you hit a wave, it's got to throw that water somewhere. A lot of times it's up, in the air, and back onto the people in the boat. In a catamaran, you're displacing a lot less water. And a lot of that water is getting trapped inside the tunnel. So there's not as much that can be thrown to the side, less to go up in the air. You're going to stay a lot drier in the boat. Also, that tunnel traps a lot of air. What that air does that gets trapped in the tunnel, it creates a cushion. So when the boat launches off of a wave, before it can slam down onto the water, it's got to compress all that air inside the tunnel. That helps for a nice, soft landing. You got a sharp entry on the sponsons, you got the air compressing in the tunnel. That's why when catamarans launch off of a wave and land, it's a nice, soft, dry landing. Now that I've gone through the ride of a catamaran due to its hull design, let's look at the top deck of a cat. You've got a lot more space to work with, mainly because the beam on a cat carries all the way forward. On a V-hull, the beam's going to taper to the point of the bow. In the catamaran, the beam carrying forward, it lets the designers and the boat builders do a lot more with that extra space. Additional bow seating, additional storage. It actually makes the boat more stable. So that's another advantage that the catamaran's going to have over a V-hull. You have 2 basic designs of a catamaran hull. You've got a symmetrical hull and an asymmetrical hull. In a symmetrical hull, the port side looks just like the starboard side. In an asymmetrical hull, the outboard sides are the same, but the inboard sides are straight up and down. This is typically a racing style boat. This is what they're going to use for offshore racing. They're very fast, but they're not that good in rough water. If you go to a symmetrical hull, you're going to give up a little bit of speed, but that's where you're going to get the ride. A symmetrical catamaran rides a little bit slower, but much smoother than an asymmetrical. Now, if you break down a symmetrical design, you really have 2 choices. you have a displacement haul and you have a semi-planing haul. With a displacement haul, the boat pretty much just slices through the water. It never really planes off, rides really good in a head sea, maybe a little unnerving at first in a beam sea because you're going to get some rock that you're not used to. Once you get used to it, it's not too bad, but most catamaran manufacturers now are going with the semi-planing hull. They kept that displacement in the nose, that's where they get the ride. But then the hull tapers in the back, flattens out a little bit. Some even have a running pad, some have steps, but that boat actually planes. That's where they're going to get the speed and they're going to get the better efficiency. One of the big myths that's out there is that in a catamaran you can't make sharp turns. Well, that's just not true. In a catamaran, you can make a sharp turn. You can actually get the boat to lean into the turn, very much like a V-hull. On a slower turn, the boat really likes to lean in. On a faster turn, it's going to stay a little flatter, just something you have to get used to, but it's still very, very stable. It's not unsafe. So there you have the top 10 advantages of a catamaran hull. But don't take my word for it. See your local catamaran dealer and ask for a test ride. I think you'll come away a believer. Be sure to watch our other video on how to drive and handle a catamaran. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Dave East.